Patrick, guess what came in the mail today?
Oh, what?
This.
Stick it in!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. I'm your host, Mac. Joined here, as usual, with my co-host, Kristen, a.k.a. Miss Flamingo, as I have a fucking stroke in my mic. How you doing today,
Oh,
Kristen?
no. I hope that's okay.
Yeah. A verbal diarrhea. How are you doing today?
It's okay. We all get a little verbal diarrhea. It happens to me quite a bit. I'm doing well. How are you? It's been a second since we recorded, because the last time we did an episode, it was when we did our screening for Knox Goes Away, the latest Michael Keaton film, and we talked about the Oscars. So that was almost a month ago.
It was just Knox Goes Away. Did we go for the Oscars last episode?
We did.
Oh, well, damn. I might be having, yeah. But we had another good episode for you. We are joined here by, I want to say, a special guest, a throwback, if you will. He was here for the first iteration of the podcast, and it was still called the Mac Movie Reviews Podcast. And now he's back on our re-debut as the M&K Productions Podcast. My good friend, Jayson, aka Jayridcinema from Instagram. Welcome, Jayson.
All right, let's go.
What's up, everyone?
Good to talk to you.
How have you been, man? Last time we had you on, I think we talked about, what did we talk about last time? Because we had you on like, I think 2 years ago.
I
think the Oscars was the last time, wasn't it?
Yeah, you made your predictions, because or maybe like the first year I did the Oscars with you, because I remember having a discussion and we talked about, you had mentioned that Emerald Fennell was going to win the best screenplay, original
Right.
screenplay, I believe. And
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know. And you were right. So
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, so that was like I think the last time we had you on. So
Good God, Jesus, time has flown. How have you been?
I've been great. How have you guys been?
Been good?
well, we've been good. We have been chugging along, my friend. So it's great to have you back. As we were talking before we were recording, you said you'd seen a couple of movies so far for 2024. What has been your favorite movie you've seen so far this year?
So far, my favorite movie has been Dune Part 2.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
so good. I loved Dune Part 2. I mean, Mag, I know you're missing out, Mag, but we'll get you there. I know
I'm
you
still
want to
reading
finish the book.
Yeah, I'm still reading the book, so it'll probably give me 5 years to see Dune. But before we start on our topic, because we're going to be going over both Strangers movies and the lead up to the much anticipated reboot trilogy of the Strangers, because everyone was dying for that. We got a little housekeeping to do, and I guess we'll start off with I guess I'll start. Recently,
Yeah, because you did something pretty exciting recently.
yeah, at the time of this recording, last week or 2 weeks ago, I was in Philadelphia and I went to Wrestlemania for the first time by myself.
Now, how was that? Because I was excited to know, since you are a major wrestling fan, and I know
So,
that
if
you're
you're
excited about this.
even if you're not a wrestling fan, if you know someone who's a wrestling fan, they're like, hey, I'm going to here, you should come with me. Go with them at least, because even if you don't like wrestling, it's like a big party for the entire weekend. And there's
Mhm.
people who's there for the entire week, and it's a madhouse to drive through. I'm never driving to downtown Philadelphia again. That was a fucking nightmare. Like it was fun when you got to and they had like the tailgate at Citizens Bank Park where the Phillies play, and that was fun. Some people showed up and everything. Kurt Angle was there. That was pretty cool. I didn't get to meet anyone because I wasn't close enough, but then I went to the stadium, and the stadium was just beautiful. I've never been to an NFL stadium before, and like I got there and I was up upper level 218 or 211. And I was straight down to the ring, and I was there. The first night was cold. It was like 52 degrees, but it's just when the show started, the energy just kept going. And then The Rock came out, and then like the first night was good, but everyone knew it was gonna like ramp up in the second night. And I will say the night 2 was better than night 1. Like they were both good nights, but night 2 was like the main event was like literally. I love professional wrestling, like, and it's so awesome, and it's making me contemplate of like I want to go again. Like they might have it in Minneapolis or Las Vegas next year. I
Oh.
might go, but I won't drive. I'll probably just fly. But I'd say even just go for the experience. And people like, how much you spend for it? I'm like, I spent $650 on location. It's like a third party. Like it's an experience, and I loved it, and nothing you
Aw.
take away from it. And I remember my dad told me that he's super proud of me because he said him and my brother were talking. He said like, we wouldn't have been able to do anything at your age by yourself to just do something like this. And I had a nice hotel
Yeah.
room too, and yeah, it was a fun time all around.
Well, I'm glad you had a blast because there was a lot of major wrestlers that just showed up. Like, because I saw on like the Instagram, a lot of people were going, like that are in like our community
Yeah,
that I didn't realize it. But I want to say John Cena showed up.
yeah, it was like pretty much
Dwayne
for-
Johnson showed up. Like,
It's
like
not Dwayne
all-
Johnson, it's the Rocky fucking
Well,
pleb.
All right. Well, excuse
Yeah.
my lingo.
It's the Rock. There's no Dwayne anymore. But no, it's just for non-wrestling fans, like for night 2, it's being coined as the Avengers Endgame, and it pretty much was. Like literally everyone came out to fight everyone, and it was just perfect. And it was just there was a lot of people. There was 72,000 people both nights. There's
Dang.
142,000 people in total for both weeknights.
Dang.
Oh, also funny story too. So they do the whole celebrities in the front row. Lily Singh was there on the second night, and she got booed.
Why?
She got booed voraciously on the second night. No one was messing with Lily Singh, and I was one of the people booing her. I don't like Lily Singh. She's not funny.
A lot of people don't. I think she's. Did you know I recently learned she had a movie that showed at South by Southwest earlier?
No,
Didn't do great.
Oh, so was it good?
I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't go to South by Southwest. I know it was there though.
Jayson, are you a Lily Singh fan?
Oh, absolutely not. No way.
I think when she went from like doing YouTube stuff when she was known for it, then making that into mainstream media, it's
See,
like nah.
I never even heard of her on YouTube. That's the problem. Like I had no idea who she was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, who is this? Like everyone's like, oh, she's on YouTube. Like I didn't watch her.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Well, she played like a role like when YouTube was kind of forming, when like PewDiePie was like coming out, because I was in that realm of like, okay, YouTubers are like the thing, you know.
Yeah.
But
But yeah,
yeah.
WrestleMania was fun. But
Best.
yeah, no,
I want to ask you really quick. What was the best fight you saw,
the best match I saw.
or best match,
That's the best
or
match I
tussle,
saw
or
was definitely
rumble?
the night 2 main event with Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, because that was the highlight of the entire weekend, and that was just it led everything. It was just a good release and everything. But yeah, I posted pictures on TikTok and Instagram. You go check them out if you want to. Made a little compilation video. The YouTube channel's been blowing up. We got 324 subscribers now, thanks to a couple shorts, and I'm glad to have some new listeners probably listen to this. But moving on to WrestleMania, because I can gush about it all day, but that's for another time. Another thing we want to go over first is all 3 of us have recently watched A24's new film, directed and written by Alex Garland, Civil War, which takes place in a alternate future. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to say it's a futuristic thing because that's so cliche. And
It could say it's like from like 5 years from now, because I was on the podcast, Dom's podcast, Talking TV, talking about it, and we don't know how long. It feels like it's, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years, because everything still feels pretty modern, you know.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's like this isn't like freaking like 2025 or anything, but it's the new film, and what it is, it stars Kristen Dunst, Nick Offerman. I'm trying to pull up the names of it because my name the names are Kristen Dunst, Kaylee Spaney, Wagner Moura, and Stephen McKinley Henderson, and a uncredited cameo from Jesse Plemons. And I don't want to go too much in depth to it because this is actually a good film. Is it great? I don't think so. Is it perfect? No. It has potential. I don't think it reached it fully, but that's just my opinion. Jayson, what did you think of Civil War?
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
We need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol.
First off, I want to ask, like, how do you guys feel about Alex Garland?
I love him.
I think, here's the thing. Here's my wild take. I say all the time, and people are very surprised. I think Ex Machina is a little overrated. I am sorry. I didn't love it. I was like,
Understandable.
I know where this is going. This is how it's gonna end. And I was right. And everyone's like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. I was like, you did not see that coming. And I wasn't a fan really of Annihilation. I thought I was like, eh. And then Men, I thought was not great. I don't love him, but his projects are making me interested and want to check him out, though. I will say that.
Really interesting. I really do love his directorial works. I think Ex Machina is, not a masterpiece, but I think still holds up pretty well. I think Annihilation is a masterpiece. Like I'm one of the few people on Earth that think that Annihilation is like one of the best science fiction films of the last 10, 15 years. Like I love that. Men, I think, is very, it's silly.
It's something. I will say that,
It's out
especially
there.
especially that ending. I think that third
Yeah.
act, when it tries to tell audiences something,
Really. It's interesting. It's something. It's different, and I appreciate how different it is. How successful it is, I'm not quite sure of that, but it's something. And his FX miniseries devs is pretty interesting. It's not as strong as maybe Ex Machina or Annihilation, but I do recommend his miniseries devs. So I was excited for this, mostly because it came out on my birthday, so I had a great
oh, happy
birthday.
birthday.
Thank you. I was very underwhelmed by this movie.
Same. Like legit. I like it, but I don't like it.
Mhm.
It's well made and it looks incredible. Like the cinematography is next level, and the sound design too. But it's missing. Here's the thing. It didn't need politics per se,
Mhm.
but it kind of needed to give me a reason to care or understand the world fully.
So pretty much
You know?
like they're like, we don't know how the war started, pretty much.
Right. And I'm not looking for maybe a reason for how the war started, but like tell me who is what in this situation. Is the president a fascist? Are we dealing with Antifa kind of figures in terms of who's fighting? And there is references to real life politics, but done in a way that doesn't give us uh, a clear picture. Like Antifa is mentioned in the movie, and I think it's smart that there's a mention of a quote unquote Antifa massacre,
Mhm.
which isn't, we don't know if they're the ones that were massacred or if they're the ones that did the massacring. But in doing so, we don't know. Stuff like that is fine. But for the main conflict of the movie, I don't think there was really a main conflict. Like, especially with the characters as well, we don't know what side they're feeling. We don't know how conflicted they are because they just kind of go around saying, this is the job and it's tough, but we have to do it. And I think those kind of characters are kind of boring to watch. I would like to know more about these people and how they feel about what's going on. And I
Mhm.
just feel like this movie was kind of this faux deep, like I feel like the message of this movie is, wouldn't it suck if there was a civil war? And that's it. Like, yeah, it would suck. Is that all? Yeah.
I feel like I know where you're coming from, because that was a common complaint I read in people's reviews, saying that like it doesn't do enough to explain. Like there's a way to do it without being like, hey, let's just do this exposition. Like don't do a voiceover saying this is how our war started and everything. Like they kind of did it with Stephen McKinley's character when he was telling he was asking the main guy. He was like, hey, you're gonna ask him like, what do you think about your third term or disbanding the FBI? Like you get hints like that, but you never really get an idea of like, okay, how did this start? Like when did this start? And like all you know is that Texas and California are, and they're the Western forces. They're combined. Florida's its own country and everything, and everywhere else is just, the United States technically. But we never get an idea of like how it got to that point, or even like the scene. Like there's a scene where you see two snipers, and they're like, "Hey, you guys know what we're fighting for?" Like, no, we're just trying to kill each other. So it's like, oh, okay. There's like there wasn't enough for like for me to be like, okay, I wanna. But I feel like he did it on purpose to maybe like leave it up to interpretation. But I think there should have at least been an explanation of how we got to this point.
Definitely.
It really does feel like he wasn't trying to take sides, or he was sitting on the fence, which is fine, but give us something. Even if it's something that I personally disagree with, I would rather have that than nothing.
I'm kind of like on the same thoughts as both of you actually. Like I like to know more of like this world. I kind of said this in like on Dom's show. Like to get invested in this world and like what is happening, like even like a little title card like you see like in Star Wars, excuse me. Now I have verbal diarrhea. The stuff that you see, like what Star Wars opens with, just that little card, like explaining what was going on with this world and everything, this, the happenings of this film. And then the one thing I was really let down by is the Nick Offerman performance, because we only see him in the very beginning and then the very end.
He was in the movie for 2 minutes.
And like his voice is shown like in between like, radio stuff, but he should have served more of a purpose. I think he's mostly like the figure for the film. He's like, this evil guy we have to go after. And, what makes him so evil, because all we understand in the film is that he's on like his third term. Okay, but give me more, please.
Like it was like we had a pizza, but there was no pepperoni on it. It was just cheese. And while cheese is good, sometimes like a little toppings with it, and that's Civil War.
Yeah, I mean, did I enjoy it though? Like, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I thought it was.
Part.
I thought it was a good film. It would probably be in my top 10, maybe like 10. But I wouldn't be surprised if it gets knocked out by something else, because we still got like at least 8 months to go. But I will point your guys' attention to someone who's been making a little headwaves with her review of Civil War. I think I know your take on this, Kristen, because we've talked about her. But Jayson, are you familiar with Grace Randolph?
Oh no.
Yes.
Did you see her tweet about Civil War?
What happened?
On April 8th, because our friend, good friend of Flicks Talk, David, he did a reaction talking about her review, and pretty much she's been getting like just dogpiled on with her dumbass take. And she tweeted on April 8th, Civil War, what a truly awful, infantile movie that doesn't understand politics, warfare, or journalism. Disgusting. Not to mention it trivializes all human conflict by making it senseless.
Like it's not that serious. I disagree. I mean, it is kind of a stupid movie,
but it's not an offense to the very nature of human conflict or whatever. Like that's weird. She's always coming out with takes like that. That's like, it's yeah.
I don't understand some of her takes sometimes, especially like.
Can I read the reply the first reply I see, because I'm on Reddit right now because I couldn't figure out to log into Twitter. Someone said, Grace, I just saw a screening. I have to disagree. Do you know what a war photographer is or what they do? Or are you only offended because it's American lives on display? This happens every day across the world, and it trivializes human conflict by making it senseless. Her response, if the war photographers are really that amoral, then fuck them.
Man, what did he do to make them niggas that mad?
What?
Wow.
What?
Okay.
So yeah, this is
Alrighty's Grace.
Grace Randolph has always been. You're not a fan of her, are you, Kristen? I think we talked about her before. You don't like her.
Here's the thing. I liked her when I was like first getting into film. Like this is like when filming stuff like on Twitter, sharing movie reviews on Twitter, not Twitter, but like on YouTube was becoming a thing. And I was like binge watching your stuff. And when this was like before, when she used to review films, she would go to the movies
I
and
remember that.
ask people
I remember that.
what they thought. Like, she wasn't reviewing it. Like, she like stopped down people, said, "Hey, did you see this from like you saw this and it's year 2010? Give us your thoughts." And then there would be like 5 or 6, maybe even 3 people who saw it. And then she would interview the one person that was in the theater who saw maybe like the movie that, So I loved it. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what turned me off by her. And I was just like, there's like others that I love, I think, people like Chris Duckman and Dead Meats and like, John Flickinger and, when the Schmoes were, doing their stuff. I mean, like, they're like the OGs, Like Grace, I'm just like, needs a chill pill every once in a while.
And I remember because she is not, I remember because she was like one of the people that she's been like shitting on James Gunn for years. And I'm a big James Gunn fan.
Yeah, we both are actually. So I don't understand her like as like a reviewer, but like
at a point, is it just trying to get like shocking to say, like, because if you tweet something like that, and obviously like it's from a studio that everyone is like has massive respect for. A24 don't miss. Even their weaker movies are still like you want to see it. And you're coming from a creator who has a good credentials behind them, like writing and directing. Do you just say something like that to just get a reaction to people to go check out the video and see what you say? And then do you just kind of say, hey, any publicity is good publicity, even if it's bad? Like, what's the idea of that? Anyway, Civil War was fine. I gave it a B+.
I gave it like a B, so I feel like we're on the same wavelength.
What'd you give it, Jayson?
I was torn between a 6 and a
5.5. I'd say a 6 because again, it's not poorly made in any way. It's just very it's a very passive viewing, and I think that the third act is kind of stupid. I mean, it's fun, and then it gets real stupid. It gets real stupid.
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm like, I can't.
It gets
yeah.
real stupid.
I would love to discuss the big spoiler because I saw this with my husband and my sister, and they were like, my husband was like really into like the first half of the film, and then once the third act hits, I think he agrees. Like, that's when it went.
Can I also say that? Can we have more Jesse Plemons in it? He was like my favorite character.
He was the best part.
Man was just like having fun. I'm like, you go, man. I love you.
I actually had to show my husband moments of Jesse Plemons like acting like, crazy in film because he's like, is he normally like this? I'm like, yes. And I showed him parts of a Game Night.
He was funny in Game Night. I loved him.
I know, and just the character that he was in Game Night, it's so.
I still can't believe he was in Like Mike, and I never knew that till I was older.
I know, that's like the mind-shocking experience when you go from Like Mike to like starring in Civil War and
Breaking Bad and shit like
and
that.
Power of the Dog and all this really great stuff. So it's like
he's a good actor.
He's talented. He got some good agents.
But the last thing we'll also go over, before we get into the topic is CinemaCon. We're catching up. So a lot of stuff came out of CinemaCon, and they showed a lot of footage. With
lots of trailers, all sorts of goodies that we love.
The one thing I heard,
the movies for.
The one thing I heard is that they played 9 minutes from Deadpool and Wolverine, and apparently people were loving it. Kevin Feige called it a good fucking movie, so we'll see how that works out. I'm still cautiously optimistic for it because it's Disney and Deadpool.
Yeah.
They also other films they showed. Does anyone care about Twisters? Because I really don't care.
I do. I'm excited for Twisters. Out of like this, I think Twisters might be like one of those unexpected like box office like summer movies.
They also show. Oh, maybe I don't know. I just don't. I love the original a lot, and then Bill Paxton's gone, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I don't know.
I'm not a fan of the original Twister, but
who knows? Like, I wasn't a fan of Top Gun, and I wasn't excited for Top Gun Maverick until I saw it, and it like absolutely blew me away. So maybe Twisters will be the next Top Gun Maverick.
That's true.
Maybe
I'll,
they're
I'll
kind of
give it.
like banking on that.
I'll give it a
Mhm.
shot. Still,
'Cause
other films,
I'm very, very interested in it.
but I feel like who stole the show, in my opinion, was Paramount, because Paramount was like, "Listen, we got a lot of stuff. We're just gonna tell you about it." And these are some of the films that are confirmed with Paramount. We're getting a new installment in the Scary Movie series. We got
That's a
a
throwback. Hopefully, it's better than Scary Movie 5, the one
well,
with
that's
Ashley
because
Tisdale.
well, at that point, no one gave a shit. Like nobody cared about Scary Movie after 3, like legit.
What would have been your last words to Drew?
Run, bitch! Run!
A live action rated R adaptation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, and I'm excited for that. Next up we have G.I. Joe and the Transformers crossover films. I am excited for that. Ridley Scott is going to be doing a biopic on Bee Gees. Yeah, Bee Gees. We got Star Trek Origins, a new film written by Seth Grahame-Smith. We're getting a remake of The Running Man with Glenn Powell, your punching bag, and Edgar Wright.
That I'm excited for.
I am too. Yes, I love the. Do you like the original Running Man?
I haven't seen it, but I just love Edgar Wright, so I just think he would be really smart. If anybody's gonna like do like a revival or remake of something, I always love it when like a director I admire who does it. So Glenn Powell's a director that I admire, so I'm excited to see what he's gonna do.
What about you, Jason? Have you seen the original Running Man with Arnold?
I am not. But I'm excited for this one.
We got the Naked Gun remake with Liam Neeson, and I believe that someone else got cast in that recently. I completely
Pamela
forgot.
Anderson, I think, right?
I think so. I could be wrong, but that
I
yes.
thought I saw something like
Yeah.
yesterday or something like that, and I was just like,
It might have been
Pamela
her.
Anderson.
It might have been her.
Yeah, she's joining the movie.
I'm actually excited for that because I think Liam Neeson was perfect for that type of role for Naked Gun. Because at this point, with all the action movies he's doing, it could be the parody that we need for that, and I love it. We got a new original horror film titled Vicious that's going to be starring Dakota Fanning. One of the more odder news is that Trey Parker and Matt Stone are going to work on a new musical with music from Kendrick Lamar.
That's so.
I got nothing.
Are you a South Park fan?
Yes,
Who was your favorite character? Because I gotta ask. Because
I like
my
Kai.
niece is
I like
really
Stan.
into it.
Because Stan's like the straight man.
What about
Sorta.
Kyle?
Well, nah, I really don't like Kyle.
Every few years, a family show comes along that captures America's heart. Add Comedy Central's new show, South Park, to that list. It's a sentimental story of 4 lovable scamps growing up in Colorado. It'll make you laugh.
Laugh all you want. I'm the one who's gonna be on TV, looking all buff.
It'll make you cry.
Do your impersonation of David Caruso's career!
It'll make you puke. South Park, Why They Created the V-Chip. Premieres Wednesday, August 13th at 10 p.m. only at Comedy Central.
We got Paw Patrol 3 because the first 2 Paw Patrols are killing it right now, and that's not even a joke. They actually did well at the box office.
Yeah, they did very well. I only saw the first one. And
we
the second
got
one.
sequel to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, the sequel, and we got Aang, the Last Airbender, which is going to be an animated film with.
And they also announced for that Dave Bautista.
That's what I was getting to. He's going to be the villain.
Gonna be in it.
He's going to be the villain, yes. But what were you going to say about Universal?
Universal announced some stuff. They had Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo come out. And they did they showed like an extensive sequence of it, and
Nobody cared.
There are some other headlines that also probably is drawing, that film.
What's a damn Wicked movie? Like, Jason, what do you think about Wicked? Are you excited for Wicked?
Excited? No.
What am I saying? No, I'm not looking forward to it at all. I'm probably not going to watch it. It's going to be 2 movies, and I'm not. Yeah.
I just couldn't understand why. I know the book is very big, and
the play's big too.
Yeah, the play itself is also very big. I've seen the Broadway play. It's very good, but I was like, okay, how are they gonna turn this into like one giant movie? And for them to split it into 2, I feel like it's gonna be a lot. And I find that to be a kind of interesting thing now, is if we're viewing the 2 splitting into 2 movies now that we're going to bring up The Strangers, and now we have Wicked. So part two things are becoming
Popular.
popular. That's gonna be like thing. You got to go see part one before you see part two.
And I'm just so confused of like why they have John Cho directing it.
Well, he did In the Heights.
John Cho. I mean, he did Justin Bieber, Never Say Never, Step Up 3D, Gemini Hologram. So he has like had the weirdest career. And it's like, hey, we're gonna give you like this $145 million 2-part movie. Have fun.
Yeah, and he did In the Heights. He's done a lot of like musical work. I don't like what he did though with Now You See Me Too. But do you know what? Maybe I'll give him a chance. I'm just not ready to put my money on Wicked. I am probably only going to see Wicked if it gets nominated for stuff, and it probably will in the technical categories. I don't know.
What if this turns out to be like the Cats part 2? It's just terrible.
Oh no!
Yes, I'd see that just because I don't know. Like I'm looking at this cast. Like the cast is not bad. Like I can get it. But like it's just more of like, do we really need like I think the play is great. Like I've actually seen a recording of the play and I love the play. I just think that not all Broadway plays transition well to theater.
No, that's an actual thing.
So like when they said Wicked, like I think like we reported this like I think a few years ago. You said something about Wicked, and I said that's not going to work, and I'm like, and now this is 2 parts. Like we all know it's going to end. It's going to probably be like a the MCU's like, hey Dorothy, we need to tell you about the Oz Initiative.
It's probably going to end out where the play kind of splits
between Act 1 and Act 2. But the problem with that is all the good stuff of that plays in Act 1, and Act 1 ends so strong that like I can see them ending a movie like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
You just cut it after Defying Gravity, and then see you in movie 2, and movie 2 is nowhere near as strong or as interesting. So just make it into one movie. Like I don't understand.
I feel like the only part about 2 would probably the second half would make it interesting is the relationship that Cynthia Erivo's character, I forget, not Glinda, I forgot the Cynthia Erivo's character for the film.
It's like
Elphaba? Yeah, Elphaba.
Yeah,
Elphaba. Yeah, that's what it is. And the character Jonathan Bailey is going to play is going to be the most interesting, I think, because that I remember the most from the musical.
What's funny is that Idina Menzel first played that character in Broadway, who would later go on to be Elsa, which is why. And like, I got nothing against Cynthia Erivo. I think she's a good actress, but I just don't. I don't buy her as the Wicked Witch of the West, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a great casting choice. Like, I'm still like on the fence about it, but I think it suits Ariana Grande since she like fits kind of like Broadway stuff.
Not Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo.
I know, but I was gonna get to that. Yeah, sorry. I'm getting to that. But Cynthia Erivo was very talented. When I've seen clips of her, like doing stuff on Broadway and everything, I don't know if I'm gonna like her as Elphaba. Like I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Like I was not surprised Ariana Grande got casted.
Oh no, that was
for that film, because that was like her thing. Like Wicked is like her thing. Like she is obsessed with Wicked.
Is she?
So yeah. So I wasn't surprised that she got casted for that film, and I don't know. Like I'm not as excited for it. Do I like some of the other casting to it? Yes, like Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum is in it. Like there's some good casting to it, but it's not driving me where I want to put my money or my gift card money down and say I choose this movie.
Well, the crazy thing is too is that it is written by by Winnie Holzman, who did write the book that the play was based on back in 1985. So it has the roots of the musical. So I guess we'll just have to see. Like if maybe this will be like the hit of the year, like I think later, because it is coming out like the good weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. People are probably gonna look for stuff to go see.
Yeah, that's usually a good time, but we'll see what also is coming out that time. But
Let
I
me
want to
see.
discuss Lionsgate really quickly because they announced the Blair Witch Project,
Oh my
where
god.
someone has also addressed criticism for bringing it back. Not besides you, Mac. I mean, I'm not a fan.
One of the actors did, I saw.
Yes, and I agree. I think I'm not a huge fan of the Blair Witch Project. Do I appreciate it for what it did for found footage cinema and like indie horror? Yes, but I'm like, eh.
Blair Witch Project is one of my favorite horror movies ever.
Did you
And
watch the sequels?
I did.
What'd you think?
Blair Witch 2 is like completely inside out. Like it is chopped up to bits. It's barely even a movie. And Blair Witch, the what's that director's name that did Blair Witch?
The
He's doing
26.
Godzilla now.
Oh, Adam Wingard.
Yeah, I think he greatly misunderstood what the Blair Witch Project is, and I'm not a fan
Fair.
of bringing it back.
It's just weird.
Leave it as it is. We're good.
Yeah. I mean, it's still known by a lot of audiences. It just doesn't make sense to bring it back. You know, they tried once, and it was fairly recent that they tried it, and it just didn't work.
Well, you know what's funny? I actually have insight on that. Well, actually, finish what you're saying. Finish with the Lionsgate, and I'll go back to Blair Witch.
Okay. We also got announcement that Margot Robbie's production company is going to be adapting Monopoly. So get ready for another board game movie that's probably going to come out, and I'm interested to see how they're going to take on Monopoly.
What's funny is that I remember a few years ago Ridley Scott was attached to that, so I don't know what happened. We're going from the Ridley Scott to Margot Robbie.
We got the one thing I'm excited about because Henry Cavill is just like one of the hottest ticket items at the moment. He's going to be working on the Warhammer movie. So, oh no, am I wrong? No, this is something else.
TV show. It's a Warhammer's gonna be a TV show on Amazon.
No, but this is something else. Lionsgate. This is like two different things. This is like Lionsgate and like Henry. Shoot, I forgot it was. Warhammer is a different thing. Excuse me.
This is Amazon. And Warhammer is
Highlander.
Highlander.
Highlander. Excuse me. They're both the same kind. I can't say they're the same thing.
Yeah. Watch your mouth right. It's Highlander.
Excuse me, I am sorry.
What she's saying is that he's going to be doing Highlander for Lionsgate and Warhammer separate from with Amazon.
Sorry, I mixed the two up because they're, to me, like with Henry Cavill is like, you know, the ultimate guy to start in like, you know, this phenomenon of like game stuff and, you know,
well, he's a
fantasy
gamer.
stuff. Like this is the guy. He is a gamer, yes, and I enjoy hearing what he has to say and just like his fandom of stuff. Like, because my husband's into the same stuff as he is, and I like hearing like, you know, the takes from both ends. So like I'm excited to see what it is, you know. So okay, so then we comedian Aziz Ansari came out with his new film, Good Fortune, which he wrote and directed and he stars in. It's about an angel played by Keanu Reeves who attempts to do a good deed by showing a poor man, played by Aziz, that the life of a rich man, played by Seth Rogen, isn't that great. So he switches their lives, but Aziz's character disagrees with the angel's point and wants to stay rich. There's no release date yet, but hopefully we get one soon because I'm very interested in seeing it.
Also, Roman Reigns is going to be in there because Keke Palmer is going to be in the film too, and she shared a picture of him in the film, so he's going to take his sabbatical. Yeah, so it's interesting because I want to see how this works out.
But I also want to bring up one other thing. We were supposed to have John Wick's Ballerina come out this year, but now they pushed it to come out next year. But Lionsgate did show a killer reel at the event, according to this article on Gizmo. So we don't know. I was very excited for Ballerina, but did you watch the series on Peacock yet? I haven't watched it. I did not like
it. It was not good.
I know.
It's not. Jayson, did you watch The Continental?
I couldn't hear what he said.
What'd you say?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
What do you think
No.
about them doing the spin-offs, like the ballerina and all that?
I'm into it, and anytime we get
More of this world, I'm down for it. There is one Lionsgate movie that I'm really interested in that they showed at CinemaCon and apparently doesn't look that bad. Michael Jackson biopic.
Oh yeah, that this his nephew's playing
Yes.
him. Yeah,
That is, no matter what they do, that movie's going to be weird.
yeah. No.
Because Graham King is producing it, who produced Bohemian Rhapsody, and they
Okay.
cannot Bohemian Rhapsody Michael Jackson's life. That man's life was full of not good, not
Things.
Mm-hmm.
mainstream family friendly stuff, and they're making it into a big movie. Like there are things that they cannot ignore, but it's going to be weird. I've always said that like it would be impossible to make a Michael Jackson biopic, but they're going to try, and I'm just interested in seeing how they pull it off, because no matter what they do, it's going to be something.
Do you are you an MJ fan, or were you never really into him?
I'm a fan of the music, and everything else is
It's questionable.
I'm a fan of his music, dude.
So you get this.
I think that's what most people can say now at this point. They're just like, I'm just a fan of the music.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
understandable. I get what you mean, but I don't that is interesting to me because the last time we got a Michael Jackson biopic, Flex played him, and that was the weirdest biopic I ever watched. It was like a TV movie, and it was so uncomfortable. And like the last Michael Jackson movie got in theaters was like This Is It, when he died, and the family sued because they said you're taking advantage of his property. So yeah, Michael Jackson has a very interesting history when it comes to terms of movies, but yeah, Jesus Christ. What was that on again?
No matter
Oh,
what they do,
yeah,
it's going to be something.
they gotta learn how to beat it. That's all they gotta do. Just
People are going to
Wow.
be talking no matter what.
Oh yeah, no.
And I'm,
This
and I'm
do
interested.
you think it's gonna be a award nomination?
Whoa, that it's hard to tell. If anything, I can see Coleman Domingo maybe pulling off something as Joe Jackson, like pulling off something really interesting. But you know, other than that, it's going to be interesting.
We'll see. But one last thing before I wrap up, I want to go back to the Blair Witch. Yeah, one of the actors had come out and said like, yeah, we don't think this is a good idea. Well, he just needs a sandwich, so it's okay. What's funny is because like the original Blair Witch, I think it is important for viral marketing and like the found footage genre. Like it kind of revitalized it after it kind of went dormant after Cannibal Holocaust in the 70s. So the problem with it is just like the sequel, what came after that was just not good. Like Blair Witch 2 is legitimately one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And I think I don't know who I was watching. They're trying to like defend it, saying it's like actually not a bad movie. And like I don't know what you were smoking, but the 2016 one isn't bad. Like it's not great, but it's like okay. But I'm just like, what else can you do with this concept that we aren't going to be able to see? I don't know, but. Yep, that's all it's gonna do for a recap. I guess we should finally get into the topic, and we should check our doors, make sure they're locked, because there could be some people with bags over their heads, and we're gonna be talking about the Strangers movie. So let's get into it.
Who is that? Hello? You're gonna die. Hi.
Strangers.
All right, so after our long ass intro and doing recapping, we're finally gonna get into the topic, what we've all been waiting to get into. Since the announcement that there will be a new sequel, of like what is that? There's gonna be a new trilogy of the Strangers movie. It will be coming out. All of them are coming out this year, at least, or at least one's coming out in May, so a month from this recording. The other two, I believe, in the fall of this year. We decided to go over the first two Strangers movies and talk about them. And I'm just gonna start. We're gonna start with the 2008 film, the one directed by Brian Fortino, and it stars Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. And it is about a couple who stays in a vacation home and is disrupted by three masked intruders who infiltrate the home and try to kill them. And yeah, I'm gonna start off like I hate this movie. I hate The Strangers in general. I think The Strangers is one of the most overrated horror series of all time. But that's just me. But I'll start with my guess here. Jayson, what do you think about the Strangers as a whole, and then the 2008 film?
I like The Strangers. I like the
2008 film. I think for what it is, it's pretty effective. And, it's a very simple premise that I think they take a lot of advantage of. And basically, it's not a premise worth 5 movies, which is kind of why I wanted to come on here because they're making 3 more.
Yes.
I need to
Which
talk
I
about
don't
that.
understand
Yes,
why.
it makes no sense.
That's those 3 movies is a lot of movies. Like that's
How
6.
much torture can these
Yeah.
3 people handle?
What do you? I don't even know. Like it's something. Which, I guess
It
we'll get
definitely
into.
is something.
But as for the first movie, I think the first movie is effective. Yeah, it's a little stupid. Yeah, it's a little corny, but I think there are moments in it that really, really work. Do you guys remember? Like, I remember one of my first memories of like audience reaction videos on YouTube was like that video of people watching The Strangers in theaters, where who's the woman in the first one? Was that Liv Tyler?
Yeah, Liv Tyler was in the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Liv
Liv Tyler.
Tyler. Yeah, that shot of her basically facing the camera, and then you see in the background one of the guys like walking out of the darkness and then
Mhm.
disappearing again. Like there's this old video on YouTube of like basically somebody recording in the theater, and once the guy shows up, everybody loses their minds and screams and goes absolutely insane. And
I
then
think I
once he
remember that.
disappears, everybody loses their minds again. So it's like it's a fun theater movie, that first one. Are we gonna go like each movie individually?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the first
Yeah.
and 2nd
Mhm.
one, and then we'll
Okay.
Kristen, what do you think about the first movie?
It's okay. Not great. I think it does have some pulse pounding moments. I think though at the time I could see where the hype when this film was released like in 2008. I will say this. The most haunting thing in the film is the quote unquote Law and Order voice actor guy, like the haunting voice opening is the most creepiest thing in the film. Everything else isn't. So I appreciate it for what it was, but once we like break down to it, I think it's okay. Not great, but okay,
It's overhyped.
Basically.
Like, I just think my problem with it is like be like, oh my god, I watched this at 2 a.m. in the dark and it was so scary. I'm like, well, yeah, no shit. You watch something that is a home invasion film, you're watching it alone at night, you will be
Mhm.
scared. I'm pretty sure if I turned off my light right now and I'm talking about this movie, I'd probably be scared too. But I'm in the light and it's just like this movie is dumb, and I'm not gonna say like there's moments of where it's scary, but
Yeah.
one thing about this film that has not aged well, I don't like Liv Tyler. I think she's a horrible actress.
She's very, very soft spoken. And
That's the problem.
and I just am like, okay, with her stuff. Like she's good at some stuff, but I was like, "Ugh." With this film, I was like, it just her performance doesn't do it for me for that film in particular.
Has an odd crying face.
She does.
I'm sorry. Wait, what was that?
She has an odd crying face.
She
Like
kind
when
of
she's
does.
crying. Yeah.
And like I remember her because like she was in the Hulk movie that same year. Like it's that voice. She's like, hey, why are you guys at our house? Like
You
get
have the
some-
wrong house.
like get some inflection in your voice. God damn. Like please, Christ's sakes. Like I know your dad is the lead singer of Aerosmith. Like I'm pretty sure you have the bass in your voice. You can do it.
I remember watching her in 911 Lone Star when that was just becoming out, and I was just like, eh. And then I remember her like in like I think she was like in Armageddon. Am I wrong?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, like
She's
like I
also gonna
remember her in that.
She's gonna be in Captain America: Civil War. I mean, Captain America: Brave New World as Betsy Ross. She's coming back. But what did you guys think about the horror in the film? Do you feel like it was effective, or was it just cheap jump scares?
I don't mind a fun.
Jump scare centric movie, you know, as long as it's effective and there's effort put into it. And I think there's a little bit of effort put into the jump scares in this movie, you know. I think it's not, but it's fun horror. It's not like terrifying, but
I agree.
it's
It's not
yeah.
entirely cheap horror, but it's okay. You know, not great horror, you know. Like I can't
There's a
really
lot of
remember anything that looked purely terrifying.
again for what it is.
It's effective. And I think there's a lot of really cool build up to like, you know, like anytime you're alone in a house and you get a knock on the door or something, there's a moment where you're just like, oh, like it always kind of makes you jump. And I think this movie kind of plays on that, like that
Okay.
kind of irrational fear that most of us have when we're kind of alone in the
I want,
dark.
I want to use that clip that YMS used. It was like, "Oh my God, there's a knock at the door."
Oh my God, there's a bang at the door.
Just every time, like, "Oh my God, there's a knock at the door." Like it is just knocking. Like that's the stranger. I guess it's the calling card of the stranger. They just knock.
What I'm anxious to know why you I want to say, do you despise them, Mac?
Despise what?
The Strangers films? Like what
I just
is
don't. I don't think they're good. Like I've tried. I've watched them. And when we get to the second movie, I'm gonna go even harder. Like at least this one, there was at least effort put into it. I just think it's like I just think besides just the atmospheric of it, it's just not a good movie. Like it's kind of eh. Like there's nothing. It's like a fast food horror movie. Like oh that
Mhm.
was fun, but I'm not gonna like. There's people who are like oh it's like I'm looking at it right now. Apparently it's like it's what it was listed as one of the most disturbing films of the 21st century, and AV Club put it as their 23rd best horror movie since 2000.
Mm,
Like I it just doesn't like I watched it and like it just doesn't do anything for me. All it does is just like, oh, I have to watch these like the characters I really don't care about it.
mhm.
Um and it's just like the performances aren't that great. And for me the writing was like it felt like it felt like a home invasion movie. Like I've seen this seen it done it, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and also it doesn't help too that apparently this is based on like multiple true stories.
Right.
Like it's because I'm reading it says it was based on the Manson Tate murders, um, a series of break-ins that took place in the director's neighborhood as a child, and then the Keddy cabin murders in 1981. But like there's like I don't know what this is based on, but I feel like it is a little bit of truth to it. But I don't know. And then I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was stupid.
Yeah, the ending.
It's pretty dumb.
I was not expecting like Liv Tyler to be like there at the end,
Like alive.
you know, alive because her husband is like dead, you know, and then all of a sudden like he was like brutally, you know,
Stabbed.
murdered.
So, what do you
And
go ahead?
no, I was gonna say, you know, and she just, you know, is like, you know, fine in the end.
Well, she does the typical of like, I'm going to grab the person and scream and cut the black.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the strangers themselves? Because that has been like I guess one of the legacies of the film is that the strangers have an iconic look. And I will say I do like their mask. I'd like the Baghead. It is kind of in the horror lore now with Baghead.
They're, I don't really think much of them.
To be honest with you, because I think the role that they serve, especially in that first movie, is just this kind of insane, like, just a few insane intruders just wearing silly masks, But I do like the baghead look. I like the doll face girl, but the look of them is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess one more problem I'll say is that it has too many horror movie cliches of like why they can't do something certainly, and it's just kind of like, oh well, they did this and that. Like what?
Mm-hmm.
Like oh, the cell phone's missing and everything like that, or the car is like gets rear-ended or something, or we shot someone by accident, and it's just
Yeah.
it's like knock knock all over again, but not funny. But yeah, that came out in 2008, and it did well at the box office. It made $82.4 million out of its $9 million budget. I guess that's the thing, where it's cheap. It's a cheap ass movie. That's what happens when you film in one location. Then we were blessed. After a few years of development trouble, we got a sequel in 2018, the year I graduated from high school, and Jayson did as well. We were blessed with The Strangers Prey at Night, which is, I guess, a sequel, but like an anthology. I don't know what it is. Like, is this a sequel? Is it like the same universe? Like,
911, what's your emergency?
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Why are you doing this to us?
The Strangers. Rated R. In theaters March 9th.
yeah, but it's a new story. Christina Hendricks was in it for 10 minutes. That was cool. God, I'm running out of things to say. I just so like over this movie.
All right. To be fair, Lewis Pullman. This is like one of his early roles. I will say, the acting here,
It's worse.
the actors are given is not great. I think
It's
they
worse.
try, but the material they're given does not work.
No, this is worse than the first movie in my opinion. It's so bad funny. Like, Jayson, what do you think about Prey at Night? Like, do you remember? Didn't we watch the trailer together and we said this looks terrible?
I think we did. Yeah, I remember laughing at it, especially the ending of the trailer. I don't remember what the ending is, but I just remember it ending on a funny jump scare.
Oh,
And
was
I
it the one where she's like, "Well, you can leave us alone," but the fun is just getting started. It just comes out of the dark.
She just comes out of nowhere and she just like screams. It's very funny.
Leave us alone!
But we've just started.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a hold on where they're going for. Like, is this? You're right. Is this a sequel? Is this or is this just like a non-canon reboot? Like, it's weird. And if it is a sequel, like if this is a sequel, does that mean that the first? No, because there's cell phones. Like, I'm trying to understand why is this movie 80s?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, that's the
the big
thing.
issue.
It
Why?
feels much like one.
Well, because that was the whole vibe. The whole marketing was like,
Mhm.
look how like 80s and everything like that. It's like an 80s in this because you know why? Stranger Things was at its peak during 2018. So everyone wanted to do the whole 80s vibe. And then when this came out, they're like, well, this is 80s. Stuff like that.
Yeah. And to be fair with this film, Joe Haynes Roberts is the director of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say, for him as a filmmaker, you're starting off not with a great start, because the man has directed Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, 47 meters down on Cage, 47 meters down.
Hey, the first 47 meters down is actually not bad. It's actually like low-key good.
Okay, but
The second one sucks.
just everything else, the other side of the door.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember that movie. Oh my god. I remember the poster.
Yeah, you're starting off on a very thin rope, I must say.
Damn it.
And to be fair to Hendrix, she was in like horror films and like thrillers before. Like, she was in the Neon Demon. So I was like, when I first hit play for this, I was like, I've seen this before. I rewatched it for this, because I tried to be good, and I was like, all right,
Try to be good.
I subjected to the torture again. So, she was in the Neon Demon. So I was like, all right, maybe she won't be as bad. I mean, I like Christina Hendricks. I really do. And I like Lewis Pullman. I do. And I like Martin Henderson. I do. Bailey Madison, however, may be questionable. But I was at least hoping for something decent, but it does not look. Nothing is well executed here.
You didn't
and
like.
I was gonna.
Go ahead.
But I didn't get to say it here, but in the first movie, they say Liv Tyler asks, the three mass killers, why are you doing this to us? And the stranger goes, because you were home.
I will say something.
I was kind of laughing at that, and then at this one, when Bailey's Madison says like, why are you doing this to me or something like that? I forgot. I didn't write it down. But the girl who has the doll face says, why not?
Oh yeah, when she has the shot a gun
before she gets a shotgun to
Yeah.
her face, and I was just like, why not? Why not?
The dialogue in these movies with like the strange, like I feel like the strangers are something where they shouldn't talk. Like I feel like when them not saying anything is more terrifying because you're like, oh, these people are like legit psychopaths and they're not talking, they're just killing you. But then to have them say this goofy dialogue, it's like the fun's just getting because we're just getting fun of like, why not? Or you're home, like they say the same thing in the sequel, so it has to be a sequel because it's the same MO. Even though all the strangers are played by different people.
Okay, rewatching this film a second time, I only remember one thing, and that was the pool scene. Everything else I did not remember. I did not mind the pool scene. I thought the character who plays Luke, Lewis Pullman. Yeah, he was fine with that scene. I thought he delivered in that scene. And then I thought it was really cool. I liked the neon stuff. I liked it was set in the pool. I liked it. But everything else that surrounds the horror in it, I wasn't here for it because it all just becomes ridiculous, Like the pool stuff felt like kind of like I felt at least a little bit of thrill,
Mm-hmm.
So
you didn't like
I'm gonna give the film credit that everything else I just was like, all right.
You didn't like the part when all their cell phones got conveniently smashed.
Yeah, how do they all manage to leave their cell phones there? Like that's the one thing I don't understand. Like us, like as society has become, you don't walk around anywhere now without a cell phone in your hand. Like even when you go to the bathroom, you always have your cell phone in your hand. I don't understand why they all chose to leave their cell phones there. Like
I think it was one of those excuses of this like, oh well, we're on a family vacation, so you can't no phone.
No phones. I mean, I feel like when you have a cell phone when you're on vacation, even if you leave the premises, you should take the phone because God forbid something happens,
Jayson,
like this, what we're talking about.
Jayson, what were some of your highlights of the movie?
Really just the pool scene. Like there's nothing
to this movie. It is so basic, cliche. Just it is a nothing movie. It is truly like in one ear, out the other kind of. It is an in one ear, out the other horror movie, which is my least favorite kind of horror movie. Nothing about it sticks with you. Nothing about it scares you. I mean, outside of the pool scene, the pool scene isn't really scary. It's just it looks cool. There's a lot of cool lighting, total clips of the harp playing. There's a cool.
That's why I think that scene stands out the most, especially the underwater sequences that jump. When they go up in the air and down in the water. So
it begins with an interesting wide shot before it goes into a crash zoom. Once the pinup girl kind of runs out, that's cool. Other than that, like it's just a lame nothing movie.
It's very average. Honestly, it really, really is.
Were you guys shocked when they announced they were doing the sequel, like when the first trailer came out?
I went, huh?
I wasn't shocked that they were doing a sequel. I was shocked that they were doing 3. That's insane to me still. Like, I don't understand. They're doing 3.
I'm just
Like,
wanting to like there was an idea to maybe be like, all right, instead of 3 movies, let's just make this a series or like a mini series or something.
Well, it's like, how many times can you do this premise in a movie?
No, and it's just redundant. And then they have like knowing there's 3 stories involved. How much torture are they gonna do? How are these all 3 of them? Question mark if they're all gonna survive.
That's
You
the thing,
know?
yeah. It's
Are there like multiples? Like are they like all like aliens or something? Like something crazy left field that's gonna pop out of nowhere?
they all died in
In
the
the
second
last
one.
film.
Yeah, like the one of
But
them got
it's
stabbed.
question mark if they died because we don't know, because then we hear the sound of
The knock at the door.
You know, not it's like the
Jack in the Box.
yeah, Jack in the Box. Thank you. I forgot the name of the toy.
I mean,
I was gonna say spinning top, but it's not that.
Well, maybe it was she had PTSD.
Yeah, I think that's what it all is. So,
but I don't know. Like, they're all dead. Like the guy got burned to death. The girl got shot in the head. The other one got stabbed. So I'm like, is the new movies going to be a reboot? Is it going to be like a different story? Like, how does it? What's the continuity of the Strangers? I'm confused.
yeah, I have no idea.
I was excited to like kind of
get an answer why with that first trailer for Strangers Chapter 1, because it was such an interesting, or not interesting, but like crazy idea of making 3 more of these movies. So I just want to see the trailer to see what direction they're going in. And Chapter 1 just looks like the other 2. So I don't know what they're doing. Like what? But like,
Well, it should be something like an origin story.
Oh God.
Well, like the trailer says, learn how the strangers become the strangers. And it's like, I don't want to know how the strangers become the strangers.
Unless
That's
you're gonna tell me something new with it, then I'm like, all right. But I if they're gonna do the same stuff, then just watch the first one and then be fine with it.
Well, I guess it's gonna be like how they became who they are. I guess.
Yeah.
But it does that still doesn't make any sense though.
That sucks. That reminds me of the last Paranormal Activity movie.
Oh,
It's like you missed the point. Don't you can't be like, okay, now we can finally see the ghosts. We don't want to see the ghosts. That's what the whole thing is. We don't see them.
Oh, are you talking about the ghost dimension?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the last one though. What was that?
Oh, I forgot there was another one. Right.
Damn, what was that one?
Wasn't that like one on Paramount?
It was the one Paramount.
Yeah, it was like a Paramount Plus original.
We mentioned it, but we didn't go over it because we were talking about the Orphan. Damn, what was that one? Yeah, what was the last Paranormal Activity movie? That's gonna bother me. Hold on 1 second. But yeah, also, can we talk about
not the marked ones?
No,
right?
this one was
This one was
Next of Kin.
Next
of
Kin.
Kin. Yeah. Was that even
that
good?
that
Did
was
watch that?
forgettable.
Did you watch it?
No.
Does anyone?
No, this came out before The Orphan.
Oh, I don't know. We probably mentioned it, but I just was like, nobody cares. And I was right. Nobody cared about Paranormal Activity in 2022.
Because you know why I remember it? Because that was the episode I talked about in my engagement.
Oh, that's right. Oh my
The Orphan film. So that's how I know.
But what the Strangers as well, like, why is it called Prey at Night?
They are on the hunt for to kill.
But the posters,
they come out at night.
But they're praying, like, let us pray.
Like they're praying? Do they?
Yeah, on the poster, they're worshiping.
Do they worship somebody that we don't know? Maybe there's like a higher priestess that we don't know that they worship.
It's all pray with an
E, so it's play on words.
Yeah.
I just like, you know what the thing is too with the second movie I watched is like the fact that Christina Hendricks died so early. I was like, screw this movie, man.
She gives a great scream. She's a great screamer.
Yeah.
I love it when she screams, "Leave us alone!" And then like she just ultimately like dies like Like she is so good. She's so talented, and I just wish they gave her more of a chance. Like, you know,
Now, compared to the acting from the first film, which film has the better acting?
first of all, I'm going to say Christina Hendricks is good in this film, but I want to say Scott Speedman is the better one in the first one. They could have just switched significant others, and then I would have been fine. But Liv Tyler, I know, is not as talented, but did I call shots there on Liv Tyler? But
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Jayson, what do you think? Which one's the better actor?
I agree. It's
Christina Hendricks is the best actress in Prey at Night. Scott Speedman, best actor in the first one. They're not really, there's no tough competition there. I think everybody pretty much is kind of bad in it. I mean, Lewis Pullman is okay, but I don't think anybody's really doing their best work for the strangers.
No one is doing their best work for the strangers. It's a quick cash grab, honestly.
It's just, and they're doing 3 more movies. And how do y'all think the 3 movies are gonna do?
I think what they're doing with no
basis on this whatsoever. If I were to guess, I think they're gonna go back in time each way. I think this first one is going to be basic strangers with hints to like different stuff. And then 2 is going to be the kind of origin of these 3 that were in chapter 1. And then chapter 3 might be like, watch it be like in either in the 1950s or the 1890s.
Oh, so it's gonna be like the 19 that anthology show on Netflix. It just goes backwards in time.
Yeah, like Fear Street.
Fear Street, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that. That's the only way I can
See them doing this. But the Riverdale girl is supposed to be in all 3.
Madeline Pettish, yeah.
Yeah, which doesn't, I don't know. This is so weird. I will not know until I guess the trailer for chapter 2 comes out.
I'm reading it. Oh, go ahead.
It's just confusing.
I'm reading it.
The worst thing could happen. They do really bad, and they just make it a Max original.
The funniest thing is, it's not. I think this is a Lionsgate movie. Is it? Oh no, this is Universal. They don't have a streaming platform. They'd have to put it on Max or Hulu.
They most of the time, if it's a Universal film, then they usually go to Peacock.
Oh no, Lionsgate's doing 3 to 5, so it's a Lionsgate film actually.
Okay, so then it's gonna go to probably either Netflix or Hulu, whichever one they're gonna do. Because I think I forgot which ones have like certain licensing for them. So
I'm reading it, and it says that in the
I
first.
I always thought it was Lionsgate because that's how I watched the latest 2.
Well, no, the first movie was distributed by Universal. The second one was Averion Pictures, but they went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And then now it's Lionsgate.
They went back to Lionsgate. Okay, so I watched I just assumed so it was gonna go to Max, but
But the first one, it says that the plot of it is that a young woman who's Madeline Petch, as she drives across country with her longtime boyfriend Rory Gutierrez to start a new life together in Pacific Northwest. When their car breaks down in Venus, Oregon, the couple is forced to rent an isolated Airbnb for the night. Through the night, they fight to stay alive as 3 masked strangers terrorize their stay. The director, Rennie Harlan, stated that the trilogy was intended to be neither a remake nor a reboot, and that the tone was going to be close to the first film. The filmmaker also stated it would explore who the killers are and where they come from. But then...
I don't know who they are, where they come from?
Because I think that kind of defeats the purpose.
But then the second one, which comes out later this year as well, the plot will follow the events of the previous film, while the story will expand in new and unexpected ways. And then the third one, will be concluding the plot line of the trilogy. In the future, This was back in 2023. The director said that he develops the plan. There are plans to develop additional films beyond the Strangers trilogy. The filmmaker acknowledged that the trilogy culminates one cohesive story, while the plot may continue afterward. He later stated that the ending of Chapter 3 intentionally has a cliffhanger ending to homage the final scene of the original film, but also set up future installments.
I'm guessing now that the three, each killer might get their own film. Is that what it sounds like?
Maybe it's like a doll face focus.
They'll
movie.
get to like a doll face and the guy with the
Bag.
is it like a the bag, potato sack, whatever you want to call it, bag, and then doll face. I forgot the other one. It's
Pin-up
like
girl,
pinup girl. Thank you.
I don't know. I really don't.
I
know
wish
how
they had
going.
names. I'm like
Yeah,
thing one,
yeah,
thing
they
two,
don't-
thing three. You know,
That's
like,
what I think.
I don't like calling them doll face. You know, I don't like saying that.
I'm just super confused, like how they're gonna do this. Like, and the thing is, like, does anyone care? Like,
I
who's
don't
really
think anybody cares anymore because the second one just shows up the box office results, and the thing is, I think they should have had a much bigger star. I mean, like Madeline Pettish, yes, she's from Riverdale, and I think she's still making her way of herself as an actress and, driving herself away from that teen drama stuff. I think they could have had somebody like, I don't know, maybe like not, I would say an actress from 13 Reasons Why, but I don't think that's also good either. But
that would be funny.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god. I just
Hannah
think someone,
Baker in The Strangers.
I just
That's
think
her
someone
14th
much
place.
more caliber to their name at the moment,
Mhm.
I think that would have might have sold some stuff, like at least two of them, like, just the leading actors from themselves,
Like, there's not like a star to be like, man, I'm gonna go
No.
see that for that person for The
So I think that's
Strangers.
the only thing that's really holding this film back, I think, from what it's gonna achieve, I think is, at least getting some kind of success. And I will say this. I do applaud Lionsgate for taking a big swing and making 3 films because I don't know many people who would do that. And then we're like release them almost all simultaneously like that, like separately, because we'll get, we're gonna have, May, September, and then I don't think they announced the third one yet, correct?
No, they did. They're all done. They all finished
No,
filming
I
in
mean when they're
2023.
all gonna be released.
Oh no! All we know is that the first one comes out in May. Second
And then the
one's
second
the
one comes
fall.
out in September. I know. I
Yeah.
saw something.
But
The
I see
third
that
one is a question mark.
yeah, I do see 2024, but I don't know if that's the true. Oh boy. Yeah. Any last thoughts about The Strangers and all that? Anyone?
I'm curious to see why there's 3 more.
Just why?
Just why?
Um,
They must have some sort of idea.
It's gotta be.
They must have like a concept in mind, because why would you do this?
And I guess we'll wrap it off to if you want to know when The Strangers 2 released and how no one really cared about it, do you want to know what it went up against that weekend in the box office?
Remind me what it went.
The Hurricane Heist, if you remember that one.
Right. Oh my god.
Gringo.
Oh my god. That was the David Oyelowo film, I think.
Yep, in A Wrinkle of Time.
Oh god, so it barely had.
It finished third.
It struggled with competition.
And to keep in mind that Black Panther literally came out like a couple weeks ago. At that time, so it finished third behind Black Panther and A Wrinkle of Time, and it has a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's 9% lower than the first movie. But yeah, no, Strangers is a disaster. If you disagree with us, just please let me know in the comments below, and I will gladly like it, heart it, and pin it because we have our opinions in that. But I think that's it.
I think it mostly is it. I just have some breaking news I want to share as at the time of this recording.
Yes.
I was holding on to that because I wanted to see if any of you.
Oh yeah, we should probably. Yeah,
I have to talk about this. I just have to.
All right, so
Yeah.
this is we're gonna leave you guys off with this shocking news because I saw it too, and I didn't bring it up. Quentin Tarantino's last film was going to be The Movie Critic, and literally like an hour ago, it was announced that he ain't doing it. He has a change of heart. He's gonna pivot to do something else.
I am so sad because, like, you know, this was a long time coming for Quentin, and then there was going to be the potential of Brad Pitt's character, Cliff from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, having a chance to return it. And I'm just like,
well, you know,
it better be for a good reason. I hope it's for a good reason.
What's weird about it is that I don't think he wants to do a spinoff. So that's probably why he kind of like, I don't think he has.
There's a lot of dead air. Sorry. I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, sorry. It was just, sorry, brain's on. Like, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, it's just like I don't think he wants to do a spin-off. I think he just wants to do.
He wants to do like one last original.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be fine with that. So, you know, if it is something like that, I think I would love to see him do something. Like, I know he wouldn't want to do a spin-off, but like something crazy, like where at least a character from all of his films like show up.
People are theorizing that he might be doing Kill Bill Volume 3.
No,
That's not
so.
Yeah, which I'm not sure about that one. But
yeah.
Yeah, I just think that the potential for The Movie Critic could have been something real cool because one of his favorite movies of all time is Blowout. Is a movie called Blowout by Brian De Palma. And
yes,
if he
very familiar with that.
Yeah, if it kind of harkened back to something like that, that would have been so cool. But I
know
it's I'm just curious to see. He must have another idea. You know, he must
have. I hope he has a brilliant idea.
Mm-hmm. And he's like kind of locked into making 10 movies, so he's just not going to make this one. He's gonna, whatever he decides is his 10th movie is going to be so hyped at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Cannot wait.
Well, anyways, let's end on something positive.
The end.
Abigail's coming out this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Abigail. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go see that this weekend.
I'm gonna give Radio Silence one more chance.
One more chance. Oh no. All right. Well, hopefully they change your thoughts around. Max, should we say goodbye and give audiences maybe a sneak peek of what we're gonna do next time?
No, let's save it for a surprise because I think we should do surprise. Yeah.
I mean, we might have some screeners coming out that we can't talk about. So
yeah, well, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, this has been another episode. I want to thank you all for listening. Jayson, thank you so much for coming on. The Flying Folks, you check you out on your Instagram and your reviews and your letterbox, correct?
Yes.
All right, awesome.
Well, thank you for coming on. It was great having you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
No problem at all. Make sure you check them out in links below and check us out in links below too. You can catch up on all the latest episodes. But until next time, I've been Mac, this has been Kristen, our special guest Jayson, and we'll see you all in the next video. Peace.
Bye.